Welcome back to Dirty 20, everyone. Today, as we get closer to Christmas, we take a look at some of the gifts that you can get for your friends around the table. Or that family member who can't get enough D&D in their lives. I know how they feel. Let's get on with the show. Thanks for joining us, lovely people. The Christmas season is upon us. I have my Christmas jumper on, and I thought it would be a good idea to take a look at some of the gifts that you might want to get for the D&D nerd in your life. And let's be honest, that's probably you. But perhaps you want to spread the joy that is D&D into the world this Christmas season. So I have split these suggestions up into three very rough categories. Stocking stuffers, under £20 and probably available on Amazon. Level up, involving time and effort rather than just like an Amazon purchase, and or possibly over £30. And critical hit. Now this one is probably more for someone that's really, really important in your life, maybe a partner or something like that, or maybe if you've gotten a really nice Christmas bonus. You'll see what I mean later on. So, for those stocking stuffers, I'm going to kick things off with some minis. Regular viewers will know about my obsession with minis, so just bear in mind that they're going to feature quite heavily in these lists. But I'm going to give a big shout out to the Wizards of the Coast range, Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures. Quite easy to get from any friendly local gaming store or Amazon, as I said before. The range is quite phenomenal, from everything from character classes like a human paladin all the way to like a whole ship. But it's definitely in the character classes that I think this range excels. If you know what type of character your friend or child plays, for under £10, you can get them 2 miniatures, which they can play with. One of them is kind of aimed for lower levels. So, for example, if you get an Elf Ranger, the first miniature, he'll have a smaller sword, not as much armor, not so much going on with the miniature. And then the second one is a higher level version of the character. Now, they do come unpainted, which I know for some people is somewhat of a negative. There is a pre-painted range called Icons of the Realm, but I'll be honest, the painting hasn't been great in my experience with them, and they're sold in blind packs, so essentially you buy a box of a particular range, let's say Waterdeep Dragon Heist like I did, and in it there will be these kinds of miniatures, they list them out, but you don't know which ones you're going to get. They can be bought individually online, but of course you're going to be paying a little bit more than you would for whether it's the Nolzurs or the kind of blind boxes in terms of what you get. Now, if you enjoy painting and you are thinking of buying something for a friend of yours who maybe doesn't, you could level up this gift. See what I did? And you could actually paint it for them. Now, this kind of is going to obviously take more time and effort than just, add to cart, prime, and so on. But it's definitely an option, and I think it would be kind of quite touching. I've given miniatures to friends that I've painted for them, and, very grateful. Another great gift under £20 is dice. It's a cliche that people who play D&D have an obsession with dice, but it's just kind of true. We have done a whole video devoted to dice. Please check it out if you haven't already. But there are all sorts of sets out there for all kinds of people. For example, in the shop where I work at, we have a really nice Witcher dice set that comes with a little coin as well. And there are all sorts of themed sets that Q Workshop makes. If you want to get them when they're young, I really recommend getting them My First Dice Set. Really adorable and great for teaching children all about the different types of dice that you have in D&D. I'm also a big fan of a nice notebook. Now, I know many, if not most, do things digitally nowadays. But like I say, I do love a good notebook. A quick search on Amazon for Dragon Notebook yields some really nice options as well. Now, leveling up. These are the sorts of gifts that I think are cool if, players in a game chip together and buy something for their DM. which actually they would benefit from massively because the DM's then going to use it in their campaigns. Now, much like minis, I am obsessed with a good battle mat. There's a company called Logue Battle Maps, which I really, really like. I've backed a bunch of their Kickstarters, and they have a really nice small book. It's actually called The Big Book of Battle Mats, and really handy, really compact. It's ring bound and has lots of different options. What's really nice about it is that it's easy to carry around. And it's fairly reasonably priced. But whenever I've used it, I'll be honest, I always feel like, it's just a little bit too small. And this is where their giant Book of Battle Mats comes in. With its A3 size, it makes for a much better battleground. They also do some great double book sets. They do one on the dungeon and one on towns and taverns, which I haven't used yet, but I really want to. Now, a massive shout out to one of my favorites from Yarrow Studios called the Atlas Mundi. Now, this comes with a lay flat photographic style binding for the book, which means that whatever page you're on, it will lay flat. Now, that's not to say that the ring binding on the giant Book of Battle Mats or the big Book of Battle Mats isn't very good. It's great. It's just that every so often, the ring binding just kind of gets in the way of a battle and it just pulls you out. So I really like the fact that these are lay flat on any page. If you're looking for one, we have one at the Troll Trader Bromley store. Come by, say hello, and pick one up. So what if your friend or family member kind of has a bit of everything, right? What else could you get them? Now, Mantic Games do some pretty cool terrain crates. These are boxes that have scatter terrain built around a theme. They have things as simple as a treasure box, which is one of the smaller ones, and you could maybe buy something like that for someone to test the waters, see if it's the kind of thing that they would like to use. Or you could once again band together and get your DM the Dungeon Starter Set. Now this comes with plenty of scatter terrain, doors, I love me a door, blame Hero Quest for that, as well as a whole host of minis, including a great big dragon. Now, thus far we haven't really spoken about the obvious kind of mid-level gift, which is an official 5e book. Now remember, there are more or less 3 different types of books that they publish. So you have the core books, the player's handbook, the monster manual, and the Dungeon Master's Guide. And here I would include other books which are kind of extensions to the monster manual, like Volo's Guide to Monsters or Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, and books like Xanathar's Guide to Everything and Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Then you have setting books, something like Eberron Rising from the Last War, or the Theros book, or the Ravnica book. These give you a setting to play in. Things like gods, cities, worlds, things like that. Then you have the pre-written adventures, such as things like Curse of Strahd or Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Perhaps one to consider, as it was the latest release, is Fizband's Treasury of Dragons. Now, this would fall into the kind of core books or additions to the monster manual. But if the person you are buying for likes dragons, whoo boy, this is the book for them. A whole book devoted to dragons. Lore, character options, bestiary, magic, and tables for creating or inspiring you to create interesting dragon characters. Now for a critical hit. So, all these wonderful things I said about Fizbands, and also the kind of cool pre-written adventures and things like that. Well, there are these, I don't really know what to call them. I guess special edition is the closest that you can get to. But Beadle and Grimm's do really, really special editions. With maps, handouts, props, pre-made characters. Everything you wish you could do to make your campaign that little bit more special, if you only just had the time, they put it in a box and send it to you. But it's not cheap. Their Curse of Strahd Legendary Edition costs £305. See what I meant about the Christmas bonus? They really are something special, though. Finally, in the critical hit, I wanted to mention Hero Forge. We have discussed them in the past here on the channel, But essentially they are a bespoke miniature printing service. If you do own your own 3D printer, I mean, this could go into the stocking stuffer, because I think getting an STL from them is like £10-15, something like that. But a couple of things. First of all, it takes time. Their character builder, which is kind of similar if you've ever played a computer game where you design your own character, it's very similar in that you have choices for heads and arms and clothing and weapons and poses and all kinds of things. There's a lot there, and you better know what the person wants. Now, they not too long ago added a color plastic option when you go to buy your miniature, and I mean, it looks pretty cool, but it's going to cost you. It's going to be anything from £45 to £50, not including shipping. So there's that to consider. They look pretty cool, and it would be amazing to open up a Christmas present and see the character that you created or that you're playing with kind of in miniature form. No doubt about that. But 50 quid for one mini, that's a lot. They do sell gift cards though, so worst comes to worst. So there we have it, lovely people. What are you getting the D&D nerd in your life? Are you gonna share this with your players as a not-so-subtle hint? Go for it. It's Christmas. Thanks again, guys. Take care of yourselves, and, as always, keep slaying. If you've enjoyed this content, then please smash that like button, subscribe, share this around online, and come and visit our website, www.lavictoriaproductions.com, to see all our past episodes, as well as our blog posts and all the stuff that we're currently working on at La Victoria Productions. Why not reach out to us and tell us what you think of our videos? You can reach us on Twitter. @MouthLaVictoria is our producer. We are also on Instagram. I am EnanoLVP, and our producer is Jazzy J. Cherot. We're also La Victoria Productions on Facebook and LinkedIn. Come on by and let us know what you think.